Hey, welcome to Trading to Rise. So, what if I told you that the real secret to successful trading has almost nothing to do with the market itself and everything to do with what's going on in your own mind? Today, we're going to unpack why the most important battle you'll ever fight isn't on the charts, but it's the one that happens right between your ears. Let's dive in.
Okay, let's just start with a really hard truth. Even with this explosion of trading tools, all the new exchanges, the super sophisticated software, over 90% of traders are net losers. Year after year after year. I mean, that's a staggering number, right? So what is really going on here?
Well, it really boils down to two very different groups. You've got this tiny minority of traders who are consistent winners, and then you have the vast majority who, well, consistently lose. So what's the fundamental difference between them? I promise you it's probably not what you're thinking.
See, the vast majority of traders, they fall into this trap. They believe the secret to success is something external. A better tool, a faster internet connection, some secret piece of information. They are constantly searching for an edge outside of themselves.
And most traders spend their entire careers on this hamster wheel, just chasing better advisory services, more and more complex technical systems, or whatever the latest trading app is. But that successful minority, they know these things are just distractions from the real work that needs to be done.
Because the real secret, it's mental discipline. The traders who win day in and day out, they approach trading as a psychological challenge. It's all about emotional control, self-trust, and having the flexibility to flow with the market, not try to fight against it. And here's the most important part. This is a learned skill. This isn't some kind of innate genius.
And to really see just how powerful this mental side of things is, let's dig into the personal story of our source's author. His journey, it took him from the highest of highs, just full of ambition, to complete and total financial ruin. And it was all because of his mindset.
So, picture this, June 1981. He moves to Chicago with these huge dreams of making it big as a trader. He's under immense financial pressure, living this lifestyle way beyond his means. Now fast forward to March of 1982. Just 8 months later, it was all gone. Everything.
This quote, wow, it just perfectly sums up the mindset that led to his downfall. He was totally infected with what he calls the big trade mentality. This belief that just one massive winning trade would solve all of his problems. His ego was so wrapped up in his results that he would refuse to take small, consistent profits because he said they felt like an insult. He needed the market to validate him, and when it didn't, he just held on, hoping for that home run that, of course, never came.
Just think about that for a second. 8 months. He went from a Porsche and a luxury apartment to having literally nothing left but his job and his clothes. This wasn't just a trading loss. This was a complete and total collapse of his entire identity.
But here's the twist in the story. Losing everything, hitting absolute rock bottom, that wasn't the end for him. It was actually the beginning. It became this incredibly painful but necessary catalyst for a complete rewiring of his brain and his entire approach to the markets.
His absolute lowest point came when he had to file for bankruptcy. And in that moment, all those external things that he tied his identity to, his car, his fancy apartment, his credit, they were all just stripped away. He had no choice but to finally look inward.
And the craziest thing happened. Paradoxically, the moment he filed for bankruptcy, all that crippling fear and stress he'd been living with for months, it just vanished. He was overcome with this incredible sense of relief. And why? Because his worst fear had already happened. There was literally nothing left to be afraid of. He was living through it, and he realized he could handle it.
This was his breakthrough. He finally separated his self-worth from his trading outcomes. He finally understood that being wrong didn't make him a bad person. Losing a trade didn't diminish who he was. This right here, this is the absolute foundation of a professional trading mindset.
So, from the ashes of that failure, he built an entirely new mental framework. It was a new mindset that finally allowed him to achieve the consistency that he had been so desperately chasing for so long.
You see, everything on the outside remained exactly the same. The charts, the news, the tools he was using, they were all identical. The only variable in the entire equation that changed was the trader's internal environment. The change came from within.
So what happened when his fear of losing finally disappeared? It was like a set of blinders had been ripped off. He realized his fear had been acting like a filter, forcing him to only focus on threatening information.
He was so busy trying to avoid losses that he was completely blind to all of the opportunities that were sitting right in front of his face.
Okay, now this diagram shows the powerful new process that he developed. Let's just walk through it real quick. It starts with simply following his rules. Doing that over and over built self-trust. That trust then allowed him to focus on what the market was actually doing instead of his own internal chaos. With that better focus, he saw more opportunities, and he could finally cut his losses short without some emotional breakdown, which made him mentally available for the very next trade. It's just a beautiful, positive feedback loop.
And this all leads to the ultimate lesson here. The market itself is neutral. It's just this constant stream of opportunities. It simply reflects back whatever attitude the trader brings to it. So, if you bring fear, it's going to seem threatening. If you bring discipline and an open mind, it will present you with opportunities. The power is, and always has been, entirely in your mind.
So, I'll leave you with a critical question to ask yourself. When you look at the market, do you see an opponent that you have to fight and outsmart? Or do you see a mirror, one that's just reflecting your own discipline, your own fears, and your own state of mind back at you?
The takeaway is pretty clear. To master the market, you have to first master your mindset. And honestly, this isn't just about trading. This is about decision-making under pressure in any part of your life. And believe me, this is just the beginning of the journey. So if you want to continue this journey with us and learn the systematic approach to building the mental skills of a winning trader, the complete series is available right here on the Trading to Rise channel. Thank you so much for watching.